The crystal chandelier cast dancing shadows across the mahogany table as billionaire tech mogul Marcus Sterling adjusted his platinum cufflinks, preparing to sign the most important deal of his career. Little did he know that a soft-spoken waitress named Emma would whisper 7 words that would change everything about his $100 million empire. Where are you watching from? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more exciting stories. The exclusive boardroom at the Regency Club buzzed with barely contained energy as Marcus Sterling reviewed the final contract one last time. His company, Sterling Dynamics, was about to acquire Quantum Solutions for exactly $100 million, a deal that would revolutionize artificial intelligence forever. Across the table, CEO Jonathan Hayes fidgeted with his Mont Blanc pen, sweat beading on his forehead despite the room's perfect climate control. "Everything looks perfect, Marcus," Jonathan said, his voice slightly strained. "The formula we've developed will change how machines learn and think." But as Marcus reached for his pen, a young waitress with kind brown eyes approached their table to refill their water glasses, and something in her expression made him pause. She glanced at the contract spread before them, and her face went pale as snow. Emma Rodriguez had been working at the Regency Club for 3 years, invisible to the powerful men who made world-changing decisions over their expensive lunches. As a physics graduate struggling to pay off student loans, she often overheard conversations about technologies she understood better than most people realized. Today, as she poured ice water into Marcus Sterling's crystal glass, her eyes inadvertently fell upon the technical specifications displayed on the contract. The mathematical formulas and algorithmic structures looked familiar, too familiar. Her heart began racing as she recognized the equations from her own graduate research work she'd published in an obscure academic journal 2 years ago. The formula that Quantum Solutions was selling as their revolutionary breakthrough was actually her own theoretical framework, stolen and repackaged without her knowledge or consent. But how could she, a mere waitress, convince one of the world's most powerful billionaires that he was about to be deceived? Marcus noticed the young woman's distress immediately. Something about her intelligent eyes and the way she studied the technical documents told him she wasn't just any ordinary server. "Is everything all right, miss?" he asked, gently, causing Jonathan Hayes to look up with obvious irritation. Emma's hands trembled as she set down the water pitcher, her mind racing with the implications of what she'd discovered. She knew she only had seconds to act before this moment passed forever. Taking a deep breath, she leaned closer to Marcus and whispered urgently, "That's the wrong formula." Her voice was barely audible, but the words hit Marcus like a thunderbolt. He looked into her eyes and saw not desperation or madness, but the unmistakable gleam of genuine knowledge. Jonathan's face had gone from annoyance to alarm, and he quickly moved to dismiss Emma, but Marcus Sterling hadn't become a billionaire by ignoring his instincts. And right now, every fiber of his being told him to listen to this young woman. He gestured for Emma to continue, while security guards stepped forward at Jonathan's frantic signals. The tension in the room was so thick you could cut it with a knife, and everyone present knew that the next few minutes would determine the fate of a massive fortune. Emma's voice grew steadier as she explained the technical flaws she'd spotted, her academic training evident in every precisely chosen word. She continued, "The base algorithm assumes linear processing growth, but quantum consciousness doesn't work that way," pulling out her phone to show Marcus her own research paper. "The formula needs exponential dampening to prevent cascade failures. Without it,
any AI built on this foundation will eventually turn against its programmers." Marcus studied her phone screen, comparing her published work to the contract specifications. The similarities were undeniable, but more importantly, her corrections made perfect sense. His own team of engineers had questioned some aspects of Quantum Solutions' claims, but he trusted Jonathan's reputation. Now he realized that trust might have cost him everything. Jonathan Hayes was backing toward the door, his composure completely shattered when Marcus's head of security blocked his exit. "I think we need to have a longer conversation about where exactly this formula came from," Marcus said, his voice carrying the cold authority that had built his empire. The room fell silent, except for the gentle ticking of an antique grandfather clock, marking moments that would reshape multiple lives forever. The next hour unfolded like a carefully orchestrated symphony of justice. Marcus's legal team, summoned within minutes, began dissecting every aspect of the quantum solutions deal, while Emma Rodriguez provided detailed explanations of her original research. Security footage from the university library showed Jonathan Hayes photographing her thesis materials months earlier, when he'd been a guest lecturer in her department. Phone records revealed communications between Jonathan and several offshore accounts, painting a clear picture of intellectual property theft on a massive scale. As the evidence mounted, Jonathan's elaborate deception crumbled entirely. He'd been planning to sell Emma's revolutionary work, collect his $100 million, and disappear to a non-extradition country before anyone discovered the formula's true origins. But Emma's keen eye and moral courage had exposed his scheme just moments before it succeeded. Marcus watched this brilliant young woman explain complex quantum mechanics to his lawyers and realized he wasn't just witnessing the prevention of fraud, but the discovery of extraordinary talent that had been hidden in plain sight. By evening, the authorities had arrested Jonathan Hayes for intellectual property theft and attempted fraud, while Marcus Sterling faced a decision that would define his legacy. Emma Rodriguez sat across from him in his private office, no longer wearing a service uniform but dressed in clothes his assistant had quickly purchased for her. "Emma," Marcus said, leaning forward with genuine respect, "you've saved my company from a catastrophic mistake and potentially prevented the corruption of artificial intelligence development worldwide. But more than that, you've shown me what true integrity looks like." He paused, studying her intelligent face. "I have a proposition for you. Sterling Dynamics needs a new chief technology officer, someone with both the technical brilliance and the moral compass to guide us responsibly into the future. The position comes with a starting salary of $5 million annually, plus equity that will make you independently wealthy within 5 years. But more importantly, it comes with the resources to develop your quantum consciousness research properly, with full credit and recognition for your groundbreaking work." Emma's eyes filled with tears as the magnitude of this opportunity sunk in. From serving water to leading one of the world's most innovative companies in a single day seemed impossible. Yet here she was, being offered the chance to change the world for the better. 1 year later, Emma Rodriguez Sterling stood before the World Technology Conference, her wedding ring glinting under the stage lights as she presented her completed quantum consciousness framework to an audience of global leaders. Her marriage to Marcus 3 months earlier had surprised the media, but those who knew them understood that their partnership was built on mutual respect, shared values, and a deep love that had grown from their first extraordinary encounter. The Sterling Foundation, established with Emma's guidance, not provided full scholarships to promising students from working-class backgrounds, ensuring that brilliant minds would never again be forced to hide their talents while serving others. Emma's quantum AI systems were being used to solve climate change, cure diseases, and eliminate poverty in ways that previous technology couldn't achieve. As she concluded her presentation to thunderous applause, Emma caught Marcus's eye in the front row and smiled, remembering the moment when 7 whispered words had transformed not just a business deal, but 2 lives forever. Their love story had begun with her courage to speak truth to power, and it continued to flourish as they built a future where intelligence, integrity, and compassion would always triumph over greed and deception. The world was indeed a better place because a brilliant waitress had dared to whisper, "That's the wrong formula," to a billionaire who was wise enough to listen.